I scared you. Ha 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 ha.
Ha ha ha. Got you.
I'm hiding under the desk. Boo.
Why are we like this?
Wow, I am so cringe. Anyways. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Anyways, hello, people. We're back.
We are.
We had a bit of a rough week last week, so apologies that there was no episode last week.
It do be like that, though.
Yeah. But hopefully you guys are better than we were previously. Things were breaking, people were sick.
This is true.
People were sick and things were breaking. It was just all kinds of a mess.
Yep. Both are true.
Right, exactly. Why would I lie to them?
I'm not saying you were.
Right, but
just
you were
saying, both things happened.
Both of those things were true. Of course they were true. I said them.
I mean, that's true.
I know it's true. I said that too. Oh my gosh. See the kind of faith she has in me, you guys.
Oh my goodness. See, I'm the one who was sick last week. I still kind of am. So apologies, everyone.
I guess that makes me the one that was broken. I wasn't broken. My car is broken.
I'm just going to cough up a lung later.
That would be very, I was going to say festive, but that is not the right word.
I mean, it would
for
be
Halloween.
Very apropos.
I mean, so I feel like festive is a word that's inherently Christmas-like, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily have to mean Christmas. No. I feel like festive is just appropriate for the holiday, which the current holiday is Halloween. Mm-hmm. So I feel like what you said could be I don't know. I'm looking up the definition of festive. Hold on.
Okay. No, do your thing. I want to know too.
Adjective, relating to a festival. Cheerful and jovially celebratory. So I mean Halloween's not exactly cheerful.
No,
unless you're on Disney Channel.
People really enjoy Halloween. And it's not even so much that it's a spookier thing, but people are joyously celebrating Halloween.
Right. Is the word festive just for Christmas? Something that's festive is special, colorful, or exciting, especially because of a holiday or celebration. Festive means relating to a holiday or a celebration, especially Christmas. That's what this Google question says. But at the same time, it doesn't have to. Right. So I just decided we are now being spookily festive.
Yes. I like that.
Right.
Get on our level.
Right, exactly.
We're also kind of hex girly. Can you tell?
I didn't notice.
No?
No.
That's fine. But do you guys like our outfits? We're cute little vampires. For the festivities, We're being festive in our outfits.
We're being so fetch.
We're being so fetch. Now my VTuber blinking with each eye. One at a time. One and then the other. Oh my god. I hate her right now.
See, I'm just doing it on purpose.
I'm literally just laughing and she's just winking back and forth, basically.
You guys want to see our scary vampire teeth? Hold on, where's the...
Oh, I don't know if I can make my head big.
Rawr.
Rawr.
It's on the Twitch interaction tool page.
Twitch interaction.
Yeah, it has the Twitch symbol on it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, zoom in.
Rawr.
Rawr. What?
Nothing. You just sound like fucking Waluigi.
We both know I had an obsession with Waluigi for 2 seconds. God. Okay, it was one specific cosplayer doing Buff Waluigi, and she was so good at it, and it made me question my sexuality, but it's fine. Here we are, we made it. Everything is fine. Anyways, how are you?
Me or the people? Okay.
The people. Please answer us for fuck's sake.
Oh my god. I've decided to potentially step away from Reddit for the stories for this week and just go straight to creepypasta.
Oh, I love that. That's such a good idea. Good idea. Well, we'll start with our get to know you questions as we do. And for spooky season, obviously we'll keep it a little festive in that regard. So what is your go-to Halloween candy?
I mean, just candy in general. I love anything with peanut butter in it. So Reese's are my favorite.
Fair. Yeah.
But Halloween specific candy, as much as I might get hate for this, I love candy corn.
Oh my god. Me fucking too. Okay? I love candy corn.
It's so good. Honestly, I fucking love it.
I'm sorry, I have an unhealthy addiction. Okay, how do you eat it though? This is gonna be the real test. How do you eat your candy corn?
Well, it really depends on how much of it I have and what exactly I'm doing while I'm eating the candy corn. If I'm just relaxing, like I'm watching a movie and I have candy corn, I'm definitely eating that shit by color section.
Oh, thank you. Fucking thank you. Okay. Like, I'm sorry, but I always eat just like the little white end off first, and then you eat the next section of color, and then you can finish it. But you have to eat it color specific.
I will say, so when you pick up a piece of candy corn, sometimes they have like a little like indent ridge right down the middle of it.
Yeah, they do.
So you break it, like you bite off.
Oh, I've done that before.
Vertical halfway, not like in thirds, and
yeah. Man, I'm gonna have to go get candy corn now.
I haven't had any candy corn this year, actually.
My friend bought some candy corn a couple of months ago, and I definitely bothered her for some, and was like, okay, you have to tell me no from now on, because I will eat the whole bag. And then she was eating the whole bag, so she had to just throw it away, because she's like, I'm not stopping myself, and I'm literally about to eat a pound of candy corn here at work. And I'm like, relatable. I'd eat all of it too. Oh, this makes me so happy that we both love candy corn and eat it the same way.
I mean, yeah, that's just how you do.
Yeah, exactly. See, as a candy corn lover, you know that other candy corn lovers are going to eat it by color section.
Right, exactly. If any of you are not going to judge us for eating candy corn, tell us how you eat your candy corn.
Exactly.
And if you don't eat it the same as us, then I don't want to say you're wrong, because that would be mean, but at the same time, I feel like you might be slightly incorrect.
Right, I agree with that statement, yeah.
But at the same time, occasionally I do just eat my candy corn, like, piece by piece, like, just like, you pop it in, like popcorn.
Right.
But it's candy corn. You ever tried to stack your candy corn up like a corn on the cob? It's like, because like I saw somebody do it, and they're like, "Oh my god, I never realized this is why it's called candy corn, because when you stack them up like this, it looks like a piece of corn on the cob." And I was like,
I mean, I've never done it, but I always knew that like if you did do that, like it would actually look like corn on the cob.
It's weird.
It is a little interesting, like, because if you were able to get the full kernel of corn out completely, do you think it would actually look like the way that candy corn looks?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because like, we don't get the whole thing. I don't know. It kind of seems like it would be like when you look at the full kernel, like you only get the end of it. Corn's very good. I will agree with you there.
I haven't had corn on the cob in so long.
Me either.
I've never actually, like, since I moved out of my parents' house, the only time I've ever had corn on the cob is if I happen to be at my parents' house and they are making corn on the cob.
That's funny.
I've never made it for myself.
Not even during like Thanksgiving?
Well, no, because I would always go to my parents for Thanksgiving.
Oh, fair.
Up until last year, because I live on the other side of the country now.
Right. A little harder to do.
Well, and this year, because Canadian Thanksgiving already happened.
Yeah.
So.
True. Well, second thing to ask, have you ever been to a haunted house?
Yes. Okay, so...
I'm excited to hear this.
Well, so I am a chicken shit. And it, like, I don't do horror movies. I, like, despite all of that, I love Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And so my, oh God, when was it? It was probably, like, I want to say 7 years ago. Maybe? What the hell year is this? 2024? No.
Mm-hmm.
It must have been like 5 or 6 years ago. Because it was definitely before COVID. It was like the year or two before COVID, I think. A couple of my friends and I, we went to this like big like Halloween festival that they did in town. And they like, it's usually, so it's in like, basically what is usually like a educationally historic place. Like they've got like all the like old-timey shops and like the big like you know, like the old school. I don't know how to describe it without like, you know what, I don't even fucking live there anymore. So anyways, we were at Fort Edmonton Park, which is like a big like old-timey historical tourist attraction kind of place.
Mm-hmm.
But every year at Halloween they like turn the whole place into like a massive like big whole haunted house park thing. It's great. And so my friends and I went, and we were being absolute just shitheads. And we decided to make it our life's mission at this haunted house to just be the biggest pain in the ass for like the actors and stuff working there. So we were trying to make friends with them all. We were basically just trying to see how many of them we could get to like break character,
mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. So, and we went in costume as shadow hunters.
Oh, I love that.
And so we all had our seraph blades, our swords, and like they looked pretty cool. We made them ourselves. And so we went into this like butcher shop, like haunted butcher shop, and the dude's there behind the counter with his giant ass cleaver, like, you know, fake threatening people. And he like walks up to us with it, and I just pull out my sword, just like, ha, mine's bigger, bitch.
Oh my God. Did he laugh?
No, he stayed in character. It was great.
Oh my God.
We went back and forth for like a good solid couple of minutes until like other people started coming in behind us, and we had to kind of move on. But I was trying so hard to get this guy to break character, and he never did. And wow. You know, good for him.
Yeah, that's talent right there.
Right. Because like somebody who's out here waving like a foam sword in your face, like arguing against your giant ass meat cleaver, that they could take you in a fight.
Right. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Right? Yeah.
I don't actually think I've ever been to a haunted house.
Really?
I've been to like a haunted maze.
Oh, like a corn maze? I've done those.
But I've never done like an actual haunted house. And if I did, it was obviously traumatizing, and I've repressed it. Because I'm a chicken.
But see, you just have to go in with the mindset that I went into it with, because I'm also a chicken.
But like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't have enough friends at the time to like have people to do that with me with.
I went with two people.
Bro, I didn't even have that many friends to do stuff with. Okay, my mom did not allow me to cultivate friendships outside of work. Like, Jesus, I'm
valid.
like outside of school very much. And like the one time I did go to like a friend's house after work, Jesus, after school, oh my God, she like almost called for an Amber Alert because she didn't know where I was. And I was like, well, this is why you should give me a phone. I don't know what to tell you. I'm over at my friend's house. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if she would have actually ever called Amber Alert. Because that
would have been
she
a little
actually
much.
would have had to give a shit. I think she said that because she needed to pretend that she was actually concerned.
Wow.
You know? Because that's the narcissism, is putting on the facade so other people don't think that you're kind of a shithead. And because she did stuff like that. She did stuff with the intention of looking good in front of other people. So. Yeah. Anyways. Shall we get into some spooky stories?
Yes.
Move away from the trauma.
Oh my God. Okay. Go ahead.
I am still sick, so I apologize if I start coughing a little, or I start to sound a little nasally, or need to pause for a second and like catch my breath, because it's all a little crazy right now. But let's get into it. This scary story is brought to us from Reddit. It is called Parasite, written by Nasty Boy. And now I can't take this seriously. Anyways, here we go. I never used to be like this. My name's Alex, and if I'm being honest, I've never been one of those guys people would call the life of the party. I wasn't great at making friends, didn't go out much, and I've been single for as long as I can remember. But I was normal, you know? Quiet, maybe, but normal. I held down a job, kept to myself. People at work thought I was weird. I guess they kept their distance. But it didn't bother me. I liked being on my own. I didn't need anyone. But lately, something's been happening. Something I can't explain. And I'm starting to wonder if being alone is the reason why. If maybe being by myself all the time, living in this tiny apartment with no one to talk to, has messed with my head. No one's visited me in months. My phone doesn't buzz anymore. People have stopped trying. I used to make excuses for it, saying I like the quiet, but now I'm not so sure. Maybe it's the isolation, or maybe it's something else. That's what the itching started. Just a little scratch at first, right at the back of my neck. Annoying, but nothing major. I thought it was stress, or maybe I'd developed some kind of allergy. You hear about people having that stuff all the time, right? It wasn't until the itching turned into something more that I realized this wasn't normal. I can't pinpoint exactly when things shifted. Maybe it was gradual, and I just wasn't paying attention, or maybe it happened all at once, like flipping a switch in my head. But I felt something under my skin. At first, I thought I was crazy, but the more I felt it, the more I scratched. I knew something was there, growing, moving. I'm not crazy. At least, I don't think I am. It's hard to explain to anyone who doesn't know what it's like to feel your own body turning against you, to feel something alive under your skin. Some days, I think that it's all in my head. Other days, I'm certain it's real. But no one else would believe me. Why would they? I barely believe myself sometimes. I tried looking it up online, trying to figure out if this was some kind of disease or infection. There are forums out there filled with people who say they've felt the same thing. Parasites, they call them. Bugs crawling beneath the skin, burrowing deeper. I laughed it off at first. Figured it was just people looking for attention, trying to freak each other out. But then it happened to me. I started noticing little lumps under the skin, just on my neck at first. Small at first, barely noticeable, but they didn't go away. They'd shift, like something was writhing beneath the surface. And every time I pressed on them, I swear I could feel them move. The itching became unbearable, like ants crawling just under the skin. And no matter how much I scratched, no matter how deep my nails dug in, it wouldn't stop. It wasn't just lumps. Soon, my skin started to blister, tiny raised bumps that oozed yellow fluid when I pressed on them. I tried to ignore it, but then more of them started showing up. Small, pin-sized holes. Holes that leaked, that itched worse than anything I've ever felt. I stared at them in the mirror, watching them spread like a disease across my neck, down my arms. And then I started hearing things. I'm not sure when the noise began, but once it started, it never stopped. This buzzing in my ears, this constant whir, like cicadas screaming just beneath my skull. It started as a low hum, like distant machinery, but every day it got louder. Louder until it was all I could hear. It's like their wings are brushing the inside of my brain, rattling my thoughts, eating away at my sanity. I thought maybe it was tinnitus, but this isn't like any ringing I've heard before. It feels alive, almost like they're inside me. That's when the hives spread. Tiny clusters of holes dotting my skin like the surface of a hive, oozing that same thick yellow pus. I would press on them, desperate to squeeze whatever was inside out, but nothing came except more blood, more pain. I started seeing movement in the holes, like black specks writhing inside the pits, like something was nesting in me. I thought maybe if I cut into them, I could dig it out. But every time I tried, the thing slipped away, burrowing deeper under the skin. I know how this sounds. Believe me, I do. But I'm not making this up. This is real. I can feel it. But some nights, when I lie there, staring at the ceiling, the buzzing so loud I can barely hear my own thoughts, I wonder if maybe I'm losing it. If maybe it's all in my head. Maybe the isolation, the silence, the constant being alone with no one to talk to. Maybe it's all catching up with me. But then I feel them again. Those little legs crawling through my veins, burrowing into muscles, and I know it's not just in my head. How could it be? I see the holes. I feel them. I tried burning them out. Maybe it was stupid, but I thought the heat would drive the thing out. I held a lighter to my arm, letting the flames scorch the skin, watching as the blistering flesh blackened and peeled away. The pain was unbearable, but the noise, the sound of the buzzing, it got quieter, just for a second. But then the burns healed, the holes came back. They always come back. I can't sleep. I can't eat. Every part of my body feels infested, like I'm rotting from the inside out. I've even started to smell it now, this sweet, rotting scent coming off my skin. The buzzing is louder than ever, the cicadas deafening in my ears, drowning out everything else. Every time I close my eyes, I see them, the little black shapes crawling just beneath the surface, burrowing deeper, spreading. I tried calling a doctor once. I made the appointment, stood in front of the mirror, practicing what I was going to say. But when the day came, I couldn't bring myself to go. What would I even tell them? There's something growing inside me? They'd lock me up, throw me in a padded room, give me pills and tell me I'm hallucinating. Maybe they'd be right. But what if they're not? I can't tell anymore. Whether it's real or not, it's eating me alive. I thought maybe I could cut it out. I took a paring knife from the kitchen. It's dull edge. Or it's edge dull, but enough to do the job. I started small, just pressing the blade against one of the clusters of holes on my forearm. The flesh was raw and soft, pus oozing from the tiny pits. My hands trembled as I pushed the blade into the skin. Just a little, just enough to break the surface. The buzzing grew louder, almost like the cicadas were excited, anticipating what I was about to do. I pushed deeper, the blade sinking into the flesh with a wet, sickening squelch. The skin peeled back under the pressure, tearing in uneven lines. Blood welled up around the knife, thick and dark, but beneath it, I could see it. I could see something moving, just under the skin, something black, something squirming. I dug the knife in deeper, desperate to reach it. The pain was intense, the fire crawling through my veins, but I didn't care. I had to get it out. I had to stop whatever was inside me before it spread. I yanked the knife through the flesh, pulling it away in ragged strips, revealing the raw, red tissue underneath. Blood poured from the wound, mixing with the thick yellow pus that dripped from the holes. I used my fingers to pry the skin apart, tearing at the meat like a butcher at a carcass. My nails dug into the flesh, pulling it away in chunks, but no matter how deep I went, I couldn't reach it. The thing inside me slipped further away, burrowing deeper into my arm. I could feel it crawling through my muscle, feel it laughing at me, mocking me. I stabbed again, over and over, each cut more frantic, more desperate. The pain blurred into a dull, throbbing agony. The blood pooling on the floor, staining my clothes. I screamed, my voice hoarse, but the buzzing only grew louder, drowning me out. I reached into the wound, my fingers slick with blood, and tried to dig it out. I could feel the squirming mass just beneath the surface, feel it slipping between my fingers. It was slick, like oil, sliding through my grasp every time I thought I had it. I ripped at the skin, pulling it away in long, ragged strips, exposing the bone beneath. The buzzing was deafening now, the cicadas screaming in my ears, filling my head with their maddening song. But no matter how much I tore, no matter how deep I went, I couldn't find it. It was still inside me.
Some of the descriptions in that are so graphic. What the fuck?
I know.
God,
It really is. Yeah.
I'm sitting here reading, I was like, that is so disgusting. Why am I picturing that in my head right now? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but that's also a good story that it can make you visualize it and see it in your head. Sick.
I don't know what, shouldn't be able to visualize those things in my head. God.
Fair. I think it was a good story, though.
It was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, this one is called I Shouldn't Have Robbed the House. By Hamster Appropriate 12. Okay. I was inside the master bedroom when I heard the garage open and a car go in. I looked at my friend Victor as we realized the couple came home early. We hadn't expected that. Put everything back, Victor whispered to me. We took all the watches, tablets, money, and anything we took back exactly as we found them. I heard the couple speaking downstairs, but couldn't make out anything. After we put everything back, Victor told me to follow him, and he pulled down the attic doors, trying to make as little noise as he could. When we got up, he closed it, and we were inside the attic. There were a few small windows that brought in sunlight, and the attic was empty except for a few boxes. We stood there for a minute, waiting to see if we would hear them. We didn't really hear anything, but we didn't hear them leave either. The attic was hot, and it didn't help we were wearing warm clothes, gloves, and baseball caps. Let's try to leave, Victor whispered. We got down the attic and tiptoed away. Victor opened the door quietly and quickly shut it quietly. The man is here, he said. I asked, what is he doing? And Victor said, he's going into the child's room. When I first entered the kids' room, a few minutes before the couple arrived, I was shocked. Though spying on them for the past week to know their routine, I never saw their daughter. At least I assumed the child was a daughter based off the decoration of the room. Did you see their kid at all? I asked Victor. He shook his head. Maybe she's in a boarding school or camp or something. We heard the man walk downstairs, and we heard a female, his wife I assumed. Everything is ready. We heard 2 pairs of footsteps walk into the basement. It's always the basement. Me and Victor assumed everything was fine and tiptoed downstairs. Victor tried opening the door, but it was locked. When we tried to find another exit, we heard a sound down in the basement, a violent scream. It sounded like a man was being cut. Me and Victor froze. The screaming didn't stop. The muffled screaming kept going, and me and Victor walked to a window to open it. When we tried, we couldn't open it. He said, leave it to me. When he tried, he couldn't either. We noticed a small iron mechanism on the window, the latch. We went from one window to another as the screaming continued. Suddenly, Victor accidentally hit a small table. It lifted a little before crashing down, making a large thud. The screaming stopped. We froze in place, but then we heard 2 pairs of footsteps coming upstairs. Victor told me to follow him, and I did. We got to the kitchen and hid inside the pantry. We heard the basement door open. The man said, "Is someone here? I'll call the police." I didn't know whether or not he'll do it, considering what we heard in the basement. Suddenly, the woman's voice said, "Did more of them follow us?" A worry in her voice. The man said, "No one's coming. Let's check around." There, me and Victor were, hiding again. We didn't plan on hurting anyone, just a few items stolen, but now violence might be unavoidable. After a few minutes, Victor opened the pantry door. Me and him peeked outside and saw the wife, her hands covered in blood, and she was washing them. Me and Victor got worried. We were in a house with serial killers. Suddenly, a guy with a tank top and underwear only came into the room. He was covered in blood and missing his hands. When the woman noticed him, she screamed. The man, completely oblivious, asked her for help. She took out a big kitchen knife and started stabbing him repeatedly until he died. The husband ran into the room as he comforted her and asked, "How did he escape?" The man said, "I don't know. I'll check if the other escaped." As he left, me and Victor knew we had to escape. Who knows what they'd do to us if we got caught. Victor took a large can of beans and told me to follow his lead. We went outside the pantry and went next to the woman. When she noticed us, she was about to scream when Victor hit her in the head. Her skin split open. A few seconds later, she was about to scream again, and Victor hit her again and again and again until she died, blood covering half her face. Me and Victor ran to escape, not caring about being quiet anymore. When we got to the garage door, it was locked. "Damn it," said Victor. We ran to the dining room. Victor told me, "Break the window." I took the chair and started hitting the window. It broke, and I thought it was all over until I heard the man's footsteps running up from the basement. Victor whispered, "I'll get him. Just stay there." As he hid behind the door, the man came with a machete. He lunged at me, but Victor reacted quickly and hit him in the back of his head. He fell on the broken piece of glass from the window. When he pulled himself up, he collapsed almost instantly. He was dead. Victor said, "Let's go and get the guy downstairs." And I nodded. We ran down in the basement and saw sheeted hospital curtains and hospital beds. On one of them had lots of blood and built-in restraints. I guess the man earlier managed to squeeze through. We saw 2 large dog cages. One was empty, while the other had the other man. He had long, strained hair and an average body build. He had his mouth covered in silver duct tape and his hands were taped together. He looked at us with fearful, pleading eyes. "We're here to rescue you," I said. I noticed a lock on the cage. The man pointed at his pocket and upstairs. Victor ran upstairs and came down with the keys. When we freed him and cut all the duct tape with scissors, and Victor said, "If you call the police, we were never here." The man thought for a moment he would have to take the blame for 2 kills, but it was self-defense. The man said, "I think it's best if I just leave." Me and Victor nodded. We went back upstairs, and the keys could also open the front door. When we left, the man thanked us and ran, while me and Victor took our car that was a couple blocks away and drove home. We turned on the news, but knew it would be a while before anyone found them. Suddenly, the newsman said, "Today marks the 1-year anniversary of Luna's kidnapping." They show a picture of a young girl, and the newsman said, "This was a video from her parents, Jason and Mariah. They showed the 2 people, the same people that owned the house we were just in and killed." In the video, the 2 said, "Whoever took her, if you're seeing this, please give us our daughter. She's all we want. We'll give you anything." Then the newsman said, "Here's pictures of the 2 suspects. They show the guy we saw the woman kill in the kitchen and the man we just freed. They are both registered sex offenders. If you see them, report them to the police immediately." Victor nearly threw up. What have we done? What the hell have we done?
Oh my god.
Oh shit. Oh my god.
No, I knew something like that was gonna happen.
I am screaming.
Oh, that's horrible. That gave me chills.
Oh my god. The people that were kidnapped were actually the kidnappers. Plot twist.
Yeah, literally. Oh my god.
What are the chances you decide to rob a house and it happens to be the house of people whose kid got kidnapped, who then kidnapped their kidnappers and killed them?
Literally. I mean, or was...
And then let one of them go.
I know, yeah. Damn.
The odds are crazy.
The odds are crazy. Oh my gosh. These stories are so good, though. Like, they really just... They get you. I love when I get the chills.
I put on the spooky music that I found last time, too.
I did, too. Yeah, no, that was wild. My next story I have is from user Zijin. I don't know how to say that. Have you seen my baby? It was 2 a.m. Why are you
Sorry, just
laughing?
the way that you the way that you said that. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Have you
Okay.
seen my baby?
I mean, they capitalized the S in scene. I have to put emphasis.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. Carry on.
Okay. It was 2 a.m. when Percy decided he was ready to head home. After a night out of drinks and socializing, his patience and energy was starting to wear thin. If he wasn't careful, his pleasant night out would teeter into disaster. Downing the last of his beer, he waved goodbye to his friends, shaking off their advances to stay for just one more round. He left the warm embrace of the bar, stepping outside onto the streets, not ready for the cool fall air greeting him. It was only a short walk home from the bar, but it had never seemed so far away. Rubbing the sides of his arms, he tried to warm himself, or at least briefly distract him from the cold. His attempt succeeded, but only in distracting himself, leading him to miss his turn off the main road towards his house. Starting to shiver from the cold again, he now found himself at the edge of LaCoy Park, letting him know he'd gone too far. Shit, he muttered to himself, looking up at the large metal archway above the entrance. Turning around to go, he heard a faint crying drift in from the woods. Glancing over his shoulder, he ignored the sound carrying on his way. He only made it 2 steps before his conscience got the better of him, urging him to go check it out. With a heavy sigh full of self-loathing, he stepped into the park. Walking along the dirt trail, he followed the muffled crying. "Hello? Are you okay?" He called out into the night, but no one answered back. The fall leaves rustled in the trees and crunched under his boots, breaking up the muffled whimper. Continuing along the path going deeper into the park, the crying began to get louder. Soon, it was the sobbing that drowned out all other ambient noise of the leaves. He was right on top of the sound. There was no one in sight. "Hello?" Percy shouted again, even louder. For a moment, the crying stopped long enough for Percy to hear the trickle of nearby water. He hadn't realized he'd come right up along the river cutting through the park. An instant later, the crying turned into a wail howling out in agony. This time there was no doubt where the sound was coming from. Pulling back the bushes bordering the path, he peered through, catching a glance at the source of the noise. Standing out in the middle of the stream was a woman, cradling a swaddled baby. She looked soaked to the bone, with her long black hair draped over her face. On the verge of shivering himself, Percy thought the woman must be frozen to her core. Lost in his thought, Percy idly shifted his weight, crunching the leaves beneath him, trying to figure out what to do. Hearing the noise, the woman's head snapped, turning towards Percy. Startled, Percy let go of the bushes, letting them snap back into place. But for a brief moment, their eyes met. Something at his core felt unsettled by the look in her bright green eyes. Part of him wanted to walk away, but he knew that he couldn't leave the woman and her child to freeze to death. "Hello? Do you need help?" he asked, stepping out from around the bushes. The woman mumbled something through light sobbing that Percy couldn't quite make out. Stepping closer, he tried to reassure her. "It's okay. I'm going to help you get out of here, and we'll get you warmed up." Though he had just promised to get her out, standing on the bank of the water, he had no idea what to do. "I can't move," the woman cried out helplessly. "Please, take my child. I can't let her get wet. Promise you'll save my baby." The woman jutted the child out towards him with outstretched arms. It was bundled so tightly in the blanket, he couldn't even see the baby's face, but he could hear its soft cries. "Sure, I promise I'll get your baby out of here." Cautiously approaching, Percy stepped onto the bank of the river, sinking into the mud. Worried about sinking in himself, he stood in place, reaching his arms out to take the child. As he took the child, cradling it close to his chest, he caught a glimpse of the mother's eyes. A violent shiver shot up his spine, making him almost drop the child. Seeing the eyes up close, something looked off. Her eyes looked predatory, almost reptilian. Pushing the thought out of his mind, he focused on getting the child to safety. "Let me set your child down somewhere safe, and I'll come back for you," Percy said, trying to sound confident and comforting, but failing in both. Fighting his way out of the mud, Percy rushed back to the path to set the child down. After a few steps, his head had cleared enough to wonder how the woman got stuck in the river to begin with. Turning back around to ask the woman, Percy saw her head slide under the water, the shadow of her body fading down, disappearing into the river. Holding the child, he called out to her, shouting, "Hey! Hey!" Bubbles rose up from the calm water where the woman had been. Looking around in panic, Percy hoped someone else would appear to help. The eerie silence of being alone worried him more than the wailing. Standing indecisively with the child, he watched as the air bubbles puttered out. He told himself this can't be happening, but the child in his arms wouldn't let him debate otherwise. In his indecision, the mother had disappeared beneath the water, leaving Percy with her child. He could feel a weight tugging at his heart, even though he had just met the woman. For a split second, he almost jumped in after her, but wondered what would happen to the child if he froze out in the cold. Percy felt the weight of his promise and knew he needed to find help for the child. Heading back down the path he had come in, he moved in a light jog, trying his best not to disturb the child. Fueled by adrenaline, 3 minutes passed in the blink of an eye as the leaves crunched under his feet. Skidding to a stop in the leaves, he looked around in confusion. Did I take a wrong turn? I should have been out of the park by now. Even though there was only a single path winding through the park, it seemed to have led him deeper in instead of out. Picking up the pace his jog turned into a run, jostling the baby up and down. Despite the rough bouncing, the baby stayed quiet through the trip. Percy hoped that wasn't a bad sign. The temperature began to plunge, and fog drifted in through the trees. Percy held the baby close in an attempt to keep it warm. He was trying to remain calm, but the fact that he should have made it out of the park twice by now began to make his mind spiral. Continuing down the path, he looked out for any other option, but there was only the single path straight through. Increasingly thick fog blurred the path ahead. He didn't see the spiderweb stretching across the path. Walking face first through the web, Percy recoiled back in disgust, brushing the web off of his face. Dozens of spiderwebs spanned across the trees bordering the path that stretched out in front of him. Picking up a nearby stick, Percy waved it out in front of him, knocking away the webs. A bundle of tenacious spiderwebs rapidly built up on the end of the stick. The deeper he pushed forward, the denser the spiderwebs became. Normally, he would have just been panicking from the spiders, but instead took solace in the fact that he strangely hadn't seen any actual spiders. Maybe even they had the good sense to hunker down out of this cold. Swinging through web after web, the stick soon became coated in the thick white fibers, now more web than stick. Knocking away the webs had become a rhythmic swinging, letting Percy focus on his worries. That is, until the stick soundly collided with a web, trapping in place instead of tearing through. The web that lay before him was much thicker than the previous layers that he had easily knocked his way through. Unable to pry the stick back, he was hesitant to try to break through the tenacious web with anything else. In his mind, this was surely the last obstacle between him and his freedom from the park. If he could just break through, he would be able to find help for the baby. Going against his better judgment, he reached his leg back, ready to kick at the web. Before he could go through with the kick, a loud snort from behind startled him. Clutching the baby tightly, he turned, looking around for the source of the sound. One long, pointed gray rod crept in through the fog, reaching out toward Percy. It wasn't until 5 other identical shapes danced in through the fog that Percy realized what it was. The long legs of a massive gray spider, even larger than himself, had descended down on the path behind him. Surrounded by trees and spiderwebs, he found himself cornered by the creature. Taking its time, the spider gracefully lowered itself down through the fog, settling down on the path. As it set itself down on the path, Percy came face to face with a bull's head jutting out from the spider's abdomen. Letting out another snort into Percy's face, the creature began swaying its head back and forth. Percy almost dropped the baby nestled in his arms from the sheer shock of the creature. Clutching the baby tighter in his arms, Percy made a desperate attempt to escape, darting between the narrow space between the creature and the spiderwebs clinging to the trees. While the creature was large, it most certainly wasn't slow. The moment Percy lunged forward, the creature slung its head out to the side. The creature's wide horns clipped into Percy's arm, taking out a chunk of flesh. Unable to hold the baby through the pain, the small, tightly wrapped bundle tumbled down on the path with a thud. Reeling from the creature's strike, Percy found himself tangled in the spiderwebs bordering the path. Percy reached out, trying to grab the child, but couldn't disentangle himself from the web. The baby stayed unsettlingly quiet, lying on the ground in a motionless pile. Setting its sight on Percy, the creature walked past the baby, showing it no concern at all. In the creature's disregard for the child, one of its long, spindly legs brushed the bundled child lightly, rolling it across the ground. The cloth unfurled, rolling across the path, revealing the bundle within. Percy mentally prepared for the worst, worried that the child hadn't even cried from hitting the ground. As the bundle of cloth became unfurled, it was confusion that was washed over Percy. Instead of a baby in the cloth, there was a tightly bound pile of leaves. No longer bound in the cloth, they scatter in the wind. Rapidly replaying the events from earlier, though, through the night, Percy tried desperately to piece together what had happened. Nothing seemed to make any sense after stepping foot into the park at all. If he just had more time, maybe he could put together what had happened. But time wasn't on his side. The creature's legs picked up speed, barreling towards Percy, bound in the spider's web. Unable to dodge, the creature scooped Percy up with its horns, tossing him up into the air, then slamming him back into the ground. Through the jarring impact, Percy could feel a crack in his chest, followed by throbbing pain. Barely able to breathe, all he could do was watch on helplessly. Ramming the tip of its pointed horn into Percy's chest, the creature jerked its head, tearing away a chunk of Percy's flesh. All Percy could manage in return was a strained scream for help. Percy tried to steady his breathing, fighting to stay conscious, but his breathing became shallow gasps. In his narrowing vision, he could see the mother's silhouette approaching from behind the creature. Her walk was unusual, swaying heavily from side to side. "Have you seen my baby?" she asked, getting closer. As she closed the distance, he realized that she wasn't walking at all. She was slithering her way down the path. The woman's bedraggled black hair now hung down over the body of a snake instead of a woman. Percy wanted to scream out one more time, but could only manage a faint gasp before the creature's bull head slammed down on him once more.
Damn.
I know.
That's crazy.
That was crazy.
Can you imagine a woman coming to you, "Have you seen my baby?" Turns into a terrifying creature.
I know. I'm a snake. I'm a sneaky snake.
You think, well, that's what Sylvie's gonna grow up to be like?
Maybe. Have you seen my baby?
Scary snake lady.
Yeah, maybe.
Walking around looking for udon.
Potentially, I could see it, yeah.
Oh, God.
That's funny.
Akuma, if you're listening, don't hate us.
Yeah, don't be mad. It's funny.
It's funny. Don't hate us because we're beautiful.
I know.
It was completely whatever. It's true. It's true because I said it.
It's true. Link said it, so it's true.
Can you imagine if that was a thing and you're reading all these like scary stories and stuff and then they just become true because you said it?
That would be crazy. Like your words and your voice
right?
like creates truth. That would be absolutely nutty.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
All right. This one is extra creepy only because it involves dolls. I hate dolls.
Fair. Same.
Dolls are creepy as hell.
They really are, though.
Yeah. Anyways, it's called The Doll Maker. Yeah. It's by Grim in Darkness. Spooky name.
Very spooky.
In a little village tucked away from the rest of the world lived Nils, a doll maker. His home is up on a hill, completely isolated from everyone else. He creates dolls for those who have lost their friends and loved ones, an empty husk without a soul. There is a rumor that Nils once brought his wife back to life. Since he had dabbled in black magic, he broke the rules that were once taught to him by his master. When Nils brought her back to life, she was no longer herself. She had harmed many people, and thus he had to end her life a second time. Not wanting his apprentice to make the same mistake, he hid away the patchwork book in a drawer of his home. When Nils' apprentice took over for him since he was now retired, he warned Otto never to touch the patchwork book tucked away in his home's locked drawer. Since that book held dark magic, Nils once used it selfishly. He instructed Otto to use the guidebook to create lifeless dolls to resemble someone's deceased family member or friend. It's nothing but bad luck, he warned his apprentice, and it will bring nothing but tragedy, he added, settling down to rest. Otto heeded his warning, only making dolls within reason and never bringing a person back to life. That was until the person he secretly loves was in an accident that took his life. He rushed to that small house on the hill where Nils lived without thinking. Otto opened the locked drawer, which he was told not to take an old patchwork book. Opening up the book, it explains how to bring someone back to life. They would no longer be human and would become living dolls. There would be grave consequences associated with their reincarnation. Pushing consequences aside, Otto got to work on bringing Kurt back to the living. Gathering some of the materials was a bit difficult, but he acquired them with some persuasion. Worried about his apprentice, Nils decided to check up on him. After all, the young man did lose the person he cared about. When he opened the door to Otto's workshop, he was not ready for what he was about to see. The scene before him was just like himself those years ago. His apprentice touched Kurt's face affectionately, the person who was supposed to be dead, who should have stayed dead. Kurt's crimson eyes opened, and he looked around. What have you done? Nils panicked, backing up to go out the door. His blood ran cold. Otto's emerald eyes were soon on him. What have I done? Only bringing my friend back to me, and wouldn't you know, you're just in time for dinner. Isn't he, Kurt? Kurt's eyes were soon on the retired doll maker, who was frozen. Why wasn't he turning on Otto? When he had brought back his wife in the past, she turned on him, and he had to end her by watching her die a second time. It's time to eat. The door to Otto's workshop closed, drowning out any screams that threatened to escape. Up on a hill, isolated from the rest of the village, a doll maker will make any doll you ask. Whether it be a family member or friend, he'll even bring them back to life. However, there will be consequences if you don't follow the instructions as they are written. Just remember one important thing. It would be best if you always have plenty of flesh.
Wow.
Yep, that's what happens when you fuck with dolls. They're going to come back to life and they're going to eat you.
Exactly.
And that's what you deserve. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. There's like whenever I've seen dolls, they're always like, I feel
they're
like
so creepy because they look like people, but they have no souls.
Right. Well, they're also not alive. But then, like, they have such
that's what you think.
Eyes and like they watch you. I've seen too many horror movies with dolls that watch you that it's a no for me.
I've seen Toy Story. They're all alive.
Right? They just pretend when we're around.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, they know.
They say Andy's coming and they go, oh.
Literally.
It's like, oh, I'm frozen. Now I'm frozen like this. Oh, you left me standing like this? Okay, let me come back with you like this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no.
Oh my god. Can you imagine just like...
I don't know why. Well,
I
okay,
don't
so
even
I
know
feel
what's
like
yeah.
I feel like people who collect dolls too always seem to like put them in like strange spots, like on a rocking chair, watching a
Right.
whole room.
Why? Right, exactly. Dolls belong in like a locked box.
Like Poppy in Poppy's Playtime.
Well, I mean that clearly didn't end very well either.
Clearly.
Um, but I was thinking more of like a toy trunk with the rest of the toys, but
Mm.
like locked when you're not actively playing with them because you
Locked.
never know what's actually alive in your room. Because now I'm just having like I'm imagining Toy Story, but as a horror movie, and it's
Oh
very
God.
unsettling.
You know
Like
what?
the creepy like mismatched toys that the kid like across the street had or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, those were disturbing.
Yeah. Wasn't his name Sid?
Yes, and
Yeah.
he, you know, so okay, you know I know what his name is, but I'm gonna say this sentence as if I didn't because I kind of want to know if you know who I'm talking about. You know the actor with the eyebrows. He's like a younger actor, but he's got like the eyebrows, the very noticeable eyebrows. You know what I'm talking about?
I feel like I know who you're talking about, but I'm bad with names.
But like
Brown hair?
like yeah, he was in the third Narnia movie. He was in The Maze Runner. He was in We're the Millers with Jennifer Aniston.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Will Poulter, eyebrows kid. Um, uh, people were apparently saying that Sid from Toy Story looks just like him because the kid has very expressive eyebrows too, and like I totally fucking see it, and I cannot unsee it ever since I saw it the first time, and honestly, it's kind of disturbing.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Honestly, I hate
and apparently
it,
he dressed up as that kid for Halloween one year.
That's so funny,
right?
Oh my god, that's literally hilarious.
But like, it's uncanny. Their eyebrows are like the same shape.
Mm-hmm. I mean, someone was bound to look like Sid.
Right. But what's crazy is that like, dude's actually very attractive.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he glowed up for sure.
Anyways. Yeah, Toy Story as a horror movie would be very disturbing, and I don't know that I could sleep afterwards.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Although I don't have any toys in my room that I can think of.
Like, I mean, I have like a billion Squishmallows behind me right now.
I mean, do I have anything like that? I mean, I have a fuzzy pink flamingo hanging from the mirror in my car.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a Squishmallow straw topper for my like cup, and I also have a little rubber ducky, and I have a collection of rubber ducks. Oh my god, what if my rubber ducks come alive and try and kill me?
Only once you start hating them.
I will never hate my rubber ducks.
Exactly, so you're fine.
I have a rubber Tyrannosaurus Rex in my car. That would be scary.
Yeah, that would be. It's fair.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Good
grief. Oh my god, that reminds me. There's these like these things where like it reimagines like kids movies and stuff as horror movies, and they're so
like the
fucking creepy as hell.
Yeah. They are.
Disney as horror. Yeah, some of them are fucking creepy as hell.
I mean,
like
they're supposed to be.
I know, but they're like extra disturbingly creepy.
Oh.
Like this Winnie the Pooh one, he's like covered in blood, and it's like so evil looking, but he also looks still like a teddy bear. Like it's very unsettling.
They did their job well then.
Oh my god, this freaking Ariel one like, gosh, she just looks like not disturbing. She looks disturbed. Like, her eyes are like bugging out of her head. She low-key looks anorexic.
Yeah.
Like, I'm concerned for her safety. Less so about my own safety if she's trying to kill me. I'm concerned for her well-being.
That's funny. I mean, she's unnaturally thin anyways, in my opinion.
No, but like, this one is even worse. Like, I know what you're talking about, but like...
No, I know, but they're just exacerbating that. Like,
yeah, they like... It's like she's wearing an extremely overly tight corset, except she's not wearing a corset.
Oh, jeez.
Because she's not wearing anything because she's a mermaid.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Anyways. What a conversation to end our spooky season on. Yeah. I hope you guys had fun with scary stories. I had fun with scary stories.
I did too. This was a good time.
I'm very excited for the next, like, holiday themed episodes we do, which will probably be for Christmas. Oh my god, I'm gonna have so much fun with that.
I know, I'm excited for it.
I'm actually, like, I know it's not even Halloween yet, but I'm very excited for Christmas music, and I don't know why.
I don't know, but I'm excited for you being excited.
Right? Anyways, we will catch you guys next week.
Yes. And
the weeks after that. And some more
true.
After that. You can't get rid of us because we are now haunting your life constantly. Exactly. Because maybe we're not even real. Maybe we're ghosts and we live in your attic or something. I don't know. Do houses even have attics anymore? Yeah, they do. I've never once lived in a house where we used the attic. I don't even know if we had one. I never really used it either. Yeah, my old house, we had an attic, but like never went in it. Ever. I feel like one of my old houses definitely had one because I'm pretty sure I remember seeing the I don't know, like the rectangular space in the roof with the door that you can crawl through. Right. But like it was like a push open one, not like a pull stairs down kind of one. So I feel like it required an external ladder. Yeah. Because it didn't have like a handle or anything on the outside of it to like pull it down. Weird. I know. So I feel like maybe that's why we never bothered using it. Maybe. I don't know. But I mean, as someone who used to live in the basement, I'm kind of glad that we didn't use the attic because I can't imagine having to live in an attic. Yeah. I feel like it'd get too hot. There's not like a lot of airflow in attics. I don't know. I feel like it would just be creepy. I feel like I would just disappear. Yeah, that too. Into thin air. Just poof. Yeah. Yeah. I would be kidnapped by some kind of ghost or something. Mm-hmm. Though I don't know that ghosts do a whole lot of kidnapping. I don't think so. Because, I mean, depending on who you ask, ghosts can't really leave the place that they're haunting. Yeah, true. But then you got other kind of ghosts that can go wherever they want to, which just sounds like a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. What would you do if you were a ghost and you had free reign? Where would you go? I would start by haunting all my enemies. Valid. You are so valid for that. Thank you. Same. Actually, I wouldn't start by haunting my enemies. I would start by prank haunting my friends and my family. Yeah. And then I would go and serious haunt my enemies. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'd come to your house and I would just like I'd reorganize all of your squishmallows. So you walk in the room and they're all in a different orientation than when you left. And then you'd leave again and then you'd come back and they'd be all different again. Oh my god. That would. And then I would hide rubber ducks all over your house. That's cruel. But like, you know what? So I've always wanted to do this to somebody and I keep seeing like stories of other people doing it and stuff. where like they go and visit like their parents or whatever from college or like friends or something, and they get a ton of like little tiny rubber ducks, and they put numbers on the bottom of them, and they like hide 100 rubber ducks all over their parents' house while they're gone or something.
Oh my god!
And then they go back home because they don't live there anymore, and then their parents just randomly start texting me like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, because they're just slowly finding rubber ducks all over their house.
Yeah,
always wanted to do that to somebody, and you've been fair warning. I fully intend to do that to not necessarily you specifically, but at least one of my friends. It will happen. I guarantee it. That. So
yeah,
you've all been warned from here on out.
I know. I'm like, if I do move up close to you, that would be a possibility.
Right? You'll be like, hey, I'm going to visit my dad. Can you come and stay with Ghost for the weekend or whatever? Be like, yeah, I can. You bet your ass I can do that.
Immediately buys 100,000 ducks on Amazon or something.
But see, I would label them 1 to 100. But there would only be 99 of them.
That's cruel.
Or I would label, or I would just like randomly, I would label them 1 to 100, but there would be 99 of them, and I would skip a number so that you would find ducks 1 through 100, except for duck 37, but there is no duck 37 because there was only 99 ducks.
Oh man, that's cruel. That's a good one.
Right? It's the little things in life that bring me joy.
Mm-hmm. I feel that.
Like fucking with people's heads. Anyways. That's a good idea. We should there was this TikToker that I used to watch. She would always used to do these videos about like ways to psychologically fuck with people, like harmless ways obviously, but ways to fuck with people's heads, and I fucking love those videos, and we should go into some of those. I feel like it would be funny.
We could do that.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week, and enjoy your spooky times. Everybody make good choices and get lots of candy. And make sure you tell your best friends of important things that happen while you're at parties and whatever.
Oh,
and we'll see you later.
Oh my god. Bye, you guys.